Can we recreate an attack from God of War using fireworks? Let's try that. Hey Blipsounds, it's Brian Seeley here, and I am super excited for the July challenge. And as you saw from our preview there, we're going to be recreating that attack from God of War, and one of the challenges we're throwing in there is using fireworks. If you want to know more about the rules of this challenge and how you can enter and compete, stay tuned towards the end of this video where I'll break all of that down. For right now, we're going to go ahead and dive into my breakdown of the video and just some thoughts in general about sound design. For those of you following me on Twitter or Instagram, you got to see the evolution of the ridiculous names that I gave everything. I recorded some 4th of July fireworks last year at my old apartment complex, and so that makes up a majority of the source recordings. Everything else that I'm using comes from Blipsounds free sound pack that we will be including for this month's challenge. One of the things you'll notice is the roars that I'm using. So the places where you hear the fireworks, like I used it for this snap, which is just taking one of the little pops. I sped it up a little bit, some EQ, heavy compression, all buttons in, pushing the snot out of it on the 76, and then a limiter. And then I did the same thing again here, put it under all buttons in on the 76, under heavy compression so that I get to this. For the 2 slowdown effects, I took one chain, made it super slow and pitched it down, put it on a little bit of reverb so I get this. Took another one, slowed it down, but didn't pitch it down. And then the rest are just their normal speed. So the slowdown is where I used a synth. The synth that I used was just the resynth that comes with Reaper. The first one here was just to get that pew, and then the second synth was just to get the pop, which I adjusted using the ADSR. So that's that neat effect when he's going into slowdown mode. And then I took a sound from the free pack, which is just a sort of just a chew, and I just pushed it backward so it sounds like. So to give that impression of we're slowing down and then things are going back to normal speed. The explosion is probably where I put the most amount of layers. I have just which we call the explosion. Hold on. Which that's a layer of 2 different firework pops, and then some of those layers were like heavy and bassy. And then I grabbed a few other sounds, so I took one of the pops and reversed them for a setup, and then just threw in some of the other transient heavy sounds in there just to give it a little bit more snap. That's just to add some extra snap for the explosion itself, so that you get that heavy hit, but then you also get that bass underneath it. That's the majority of kind of the breakdown. I don't want to go too much into that because I want to give you all the freedom to explore. What I really want to spend a couple minutes talking about now is both a game and cinematic approach to sound design. So what do I talk about when I say a game approach to sound design? Well, I've talked about this in some of the other videos, is that player feedback, that in a fighting game where you want the controls to feel tight, part of that is making sure that the player feels like when they've started the attack, they know the definitive start of the attack. And that's the reason for the snap at the beginning. So that snap is just an audio cue to tell the players, hey, you've pushed the button, the action is now starting. Cinematically, we might want to start it with some sort of lead-in tone, but the player doesn't know where that lead-in tone starts. So by having that very sharp attack, the player's now aware, I've pressed the button, the action is started. The cinematic approach now comes in that we want to tell a story through this attack, and we want to tell it through a sense of like, through dynamics and through this rise and fall action. So I put a lot of things right at the beginning of the attack. And then it kind of slows down in the middle and then speeds and rushes right back towards the end. So we can kind of imagine this sharp triangle right at the beginning, this slope down, and then this like immediate like big ski slope right to the climax. And so that's where I want to challenge you to think about this, not just in terms of layering sounds in there, but how are you telling a story when you layer in these sounds? How are you creating dynamics? How are you creating movement? How are you creating excitement? So we're moving towards the apex of this, which is the explosion. And there's lots of different ways that you can do that. There isn't just my way, there's a lot of different varieties. So I would really encourage you that as you're layering sounds in there to think about, how is this creating excitement? How am I moving the player via sound to that apex? These are concepts that you have to develop. There's no one way to do it, but as you continue to practice this, I think that you can develop what you think is a good sense of movement and develop your taste for that. So that's my challenge to you. And if you have any questions about your sound or how to do these different things, or you just want to dialogue further about telling a story through sound, please ask questions away in Discord or reach out to me on Twitter, and I'm more than happy to nerd out about these things. So I hope this was a big help to you, and I hope you have fun with the competition. Peace out. Thanks for hanging out with me at the end of this video. As for how to get involved in this challenge, you can head on over to blipsounds.com/competition, where you will be able to download this video and all of the related source recordings. And that's also where from now on you will be submitting your videos for the challenge. For those of you who have done this previously, you know that we originally uploaded to the website and then we uploaded to Twitter for a bit. Now we're going back to the website, but we're also going to encourage you to continue to upload to Twitter as well. So for the specific rules of this challenge, one of the constraints is you have to use fireworks somewhere in your video. The other side of it too is we're also providing a free sound library from Blipsounds that you can use for your recreate video. But I want to add an additional challenge on top of that. Try and find objects and items around your house or apartment or anywhere around you and try and record those. Again, you don't have to. You can use just the source recordings that we're providing, but this is just an extra challenge for anyone else who would like to do this. You can also use synths, as you saw that I used as well, and you can use any and all plugins. Our one rule is that you cannot use any other library. So no third-party libraries, nothing that you bought, nothing that came with any of your plugins or anything like that. Really, the only sounds we'd like you to use would be either the free Blipsounds sound pack or any sounds that you yourself recorded. The challenge will run from the first Friday of the month, which is July 3rd, all the way to the last Friday. And like I said, you can submit your videos on the website. We also encourage you to upload your videos to Twitter using hashtag BlipsoundsComp, because that's where we're going to select a random winner from. But for the judges winner and community winner, we're only going to accept those that have been loaded to the website. As always, if you have any questions about the challenge or about anything in general, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on Discord or on Twitter, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful 4th of July weekend. I hope you have a great time with the challenge. Peace out.